Let me start first by saying happy anniversary, HBT. There is a missing link in the work of Bible translation in Africa. I'm coming to you as a translator, as HBT survivor, as a biblical Hebrew teacher, as a translation consultant, as a linguist, and also as a trainer of translation consultant. And from this journey, I came to realize that there are things that, as we move together with HBT, looking at biblical languages, I realize that there are things that we need to consider. My topic is more practical. So you will just see pictures and few sentences. But if you follow me, you will see the missing link. So what is the situation in Africa? I think Dr. Uche and Cathy Banwell presented, at least gave a picture of the situation. But I'm just giving you some numbers. Those numbers are not totally accurate, but just to give you an idea. Complete Bible, 196. New Testament, 340. Portions, 212. Bible with DC, 43. But the total is 748 scriptures out of 2,500 languages. You realize that we are far behind, and the work is calling upon us, and we are very few. I hope to make some disciples from some of you to come to Africa to help us. We have over 500 translation projects in Africa. I'm speaking of those translation agencies working in Africa, such as SIL, Wycliffe Bible Translation Global Alliance, UBS, Bible League, and so on, and various mission organizations working into Bible translation. We estimate that about 500 translation projects going on right now. And the majority of this project, as Katie said, are Old Testament translation projects because of this movement we are in. So, number of translators, let's say roughly about 1,000, even maybe less, because we do have minimum 2 or 3 translators per project. So if you do your mathematics, you will see that it's roughly this number. Number of African translation consultant, I mean qualified full consultant, confirmed, there are not many, there are very few. And there is a trend now to accelerate in training translation consultant because of the load and what is happening in Africa. Now, let's go for the missing link. What is happening? In the field, in Africa, most of the time you have a team of 3 or 4 people working on a translation project. And if it is the New Testament, it will take between 5 to 7 years. If it is Old Testament, it will take them up to 12 to 14 years. And they are working inside the country. So, over the years, the team can change, translator will go, some will come, some will die, and so on. But the main point is the land is not available to them. As professionals, Bible translation, the subject, their profession is missing something. Now, what is happening with HBT is that with HBT, at least we had one translator in that team who has a certain level to come and spend 6 months. So the Bible land is open to that one person out of many. And behind, the translation team continue to struggle with the context of the Bible. We talked a lot about context. And what we also notice and discover that when a translation consultant goes to consult with a team, he will spend his time explaining the cultural background of the Bible to the translator for them to understand and to be able to correct the translation, to improve the translation. So time is spent on explaining what could have been available to them in a different way. And still, the Bible land is not available to them. Many translators will not have that chance to be admitted at the Hebrew University, to be part of this program, which is under the Hebrew University, because of their level of education. We have many translators who do not have a university level. So for these ones, there is no way they can come and be part of this program, this semester program, and benefit from the program. And not only that, we also noted a very strong resistance from the admins, from the CEOs, to let them come. Especially for those who have that level to come, it is always difficult to come. And some have to disobey in order to be here. Like myself, today I repent. Because I have to force my way to come when I got the no, you cannot go. But if something happened, there will be a way to improve the quality of the translation and also the impact of the translation work on the ground. Not only for translators, but also for the community. The idea is for this team working together, it is good to have one of them coming, but you will notice, you will realize later on that it is good, but it is not good enough. Because he is leaving behind a team. And when that person goes back, it's a different story and things happen. But once the team together come, they will stick together and learn together. So the context will be available to them. The Bible land will be available to them, and they can progress, they can improve their translation. Now, what do I mean by that? We have several translation projects right now on the Old Testament. If at all it is possible for those translators who will not have that chance to come to be admitted at the Hebrew University, they will spend 7 to 12 years or 14 years translating the text while the context is still available somewhere. I think we do justice by allowing these people to come as professionals and just visit the land to get to know what they are translating for this group of people. They will not have to stay for 6 months. But at least for 2 weeks, for them to see and where they are, if they are translating the book of 1 Samuel, or they will know exactly what is Shephelah, at least. And for them, it is a great encouragement to be part of this and knowing that, oh, okay, this place is there. So the work will improve. And if that happens, more translations, I can prophesy to you, will get started, especially Old Testament translation, because of the impact that we will see on the ground. And the community also will celebrate the Bible. So we'll have more Bibles, more celebrations, because the work is done, and it is done properly. Good quality. The community will hear God speak to them in their mother tongue, and scripture engagement will go stronger. We are all aware in Africa of what is in front of us right now. In some places, you have heard extremism, well, you know what I'm talking about, this persecution. Unless the community has the Bible in the language, they will not survive. The church will not survive. This has happened to North Africa, and only the Coptic church survived with the invasion of Islam. And the same thing is, profiling is coming in Africa also, in some parts. Bible translation will save those communities. So there is work to be done. Is there another link? Yes, there is another one. Which one is that? Let me start with those who have this opportunity to come and study here in this land. As I said before, only one person from one country will attend the HBT semester program for 6 months. So he leaves behind his team, his family. He comes, learns modern and biblical Hebrew, and also he had that opportunity to visit the land. So when he finished after 6 months, he became HBT survivor, alumnus. And then he will return, will go back home. To do what? When he goes back, he's seen as an expert in Hebrew. So he's supposed to answer all the questions related to Hebrew. And even for the team also, they look at him as you know all. Some will go back to their work as Bible translators. Some will be promoted because they have Hebrew now. So they can be promoted to become translation consultant. And some also, obviously, turn to become biblical Hebrew teacher. Is there still a missing link? Yes. When we go back, now I'm talking as someone, a survivor who came and went back. What happened? As we work with team, doing translation, we'll still rely on French, English, Spanish or Portuguese dictionary lexicons, Hebrew, English lexicons, French, Hebrew, French lexicons or dictionaries. And sometimes we don't have resources. We don't. And the community also is left alone because now we have become an expert. They cannot reach us. We are too much for them. And sometimes because of pride, we don't want to go down to them. So we have to, in our sermon, to say, you know, this word in Hebrew means this. And then that's it. No explanation. but because you have been able to pronounce this word in Hebrew, you impress them and then you feel good. I'm just describing what is happening. So we use French, English when we teach. And for our translation work also, things are made difficult. Because what we were trying to avoid, we are going back to it slowly, even without knowing it. Because we want to translate directly from the original text, the source language, to our mother tongue. But when we go back, we still struggle because English is there, because French is there, and the resources we are using have those languages. So what do? It's still difficult. But there is a way to do that. And that is that solution. The solution I'm proposing is a proposal, the missing link relating to those who are coming, who comes and go back. Today with Paratext, all of us use Paratext as our tools. The translation is done there, exegesis, everything is done there. And translation, Paratext is a joint project between SIL and UBS. And with Paratext now, we have more features to allow us to do many things. And this is Paratext. You have seen it with Katie Banwell. You have various features here. You have notes, you have Hebrew text, you have renderings, you have interlinear, and so on. You can create so many things. But my point here is this one. We call it biblical terms renderings. Meaning what? As we translate, we do our translation work, Paratext keep a database, a list of those words that later on can be used for interlineation or for dictionary purpose, for linguistic analysis, for example. You can use Paratext for linguistic analysis. So I just came to realize that with this Paratext, we can work out something which can become a project for all those who have come here, who have studied here. When you look, for example, here from to your left, you will see the Hebrew list. That is all the biblical terms in Hebrew. And then you have category. They have been categorized on the name frames, semantic frames. And then you have the English translation right in the middle. And to the far right, you have a language. So the translation there. And if you remove what is in between the Hebrew list to the far left, you remove the 3 columns, you will find Hebrew and what? And the mother tongue. So, which means by using this program, it is possible today to produce our own lexicon from Hebrew to our mother tongue directly without using French or English, which will be a good resource for many things. And I will explain. So we will have, instead of having a Hebrew and English lexicon of the Old Testament, we will have, let's say, a Hebrew and not even in English. It will be said something like Hébreu na lobire. Quelque chose, something like that. At least a lexicon from Hebrew to my mother tongue. And that was the missing link for those who will come and go, struggling to keep what they have gained from Hebrew, and at the same time also to give back to the community what they have learned. So this will be one of the solutions, something that I'm proposing. And then the translation team will benefit from it. All of them will benefit because they will be able to read the text in Hebrew and also to know what is it in their own languages. With paratext, this is possible. And more church ministers and Bible schools and seminaries will have access to those resources. There are various Bible schools where the language used for teaching is not French, is not English, is the mother tongue. So that will be a good opportunity for them to make use of this. And then we'll solve this problem, this issue of having to do this big detour, going from Hebrew to English or French and coming back to our mother tongue. We'll go straight from our mother tongue to Hebrew. And when that one is done, the team will benefit, the work will go on, the HBT survivor will be satisfied because he has been able to give back to the community, because the community will also benefit from his work. So let me stop here and say happy anniversary to HBT. Thank you for listening.